And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. We saved the best for last. Oh, at least second out of three. Oh, 8 out of 9, depending on how you want to look at it. Culture shock. And, this is that episode where the Krusty Krab is kind of going downhill a bit. No customers, not even a free salad bar, which we're coming back to that, if you gotta believe that. A free salad bar is not bringing in any customers either. And so Mr. Krabs has a meeting with Spongebob and Squidward, and Squidward has the idea to have a talent show. And Mr. Krabs actually approves the idea, and then just the typical SpongeBob antics they follow. So if you haven't seen my other videos, I'll go through it again. Kind of becoming a hobby for me at this point, huh? There are 7 categories. They're all based out of 10 points, and I do give extra credit and negative credit. And what I mean by that is there are some categories that could get like 100 out of 10, and I will count that for the overall point total at the end. And then there are also ways where categories can lose points. Like, we'll just start with number 1, how long the episode took to make me laugh. For every 30 seconds that I don't laugh in an episode, I take a point away until we reach 0. And I know that seems kind of harsh, but this is classic SpongeBob we're talking about. Like, I hold that show, at least classic SpongeBob, on a very high pedestal of, entertainment. So, as a result, every 30 seconds I take a point away. Now, moving on to number 2, how many times did I laugh during the episode? That's what I mean when a category can get 100 out of 10. If the episode makes me laugh 100 times, then I'm writing 100 out of 10, and I'm, crediting it to the overall point total. Number 3, memorability, as in how many quotes, moments, and jokes I remember off the top of my head without rewatching the episode. Number 4, is there a good message that's executed well? That's pretty self-explanatory. Number 5, is there character development or moments that make a character multidimensional? Also pretty self-explanatory. Number 6, does the episode stay consistently entertaining throughout? Bad payoffs or slow starts, or if it drags in the middle, that will cause me to take away points from that category. And finally, number 7, does it misuse a character and only has them in there to take punishment or make us laugh out of their misery? For classic SpongeBob, Squidward, and Plankton are prime examples of what will cause me to take a point away. So, getting into it, actually no, I gotta keep this up there. Let me grab my notes. So, as always, I will start off with memorability. And number 1, these are all random. It's just whichever moment, quote, or joke came to my head, one after the other. So the number 1 thing that came to my head for memorability is SpongeBob and Squidward. They keep switching places, from behind and in front of the curtain, and the people chill for SpongeBob, and they become quiet for Squidward. Number 2 is Squidward. After he's all show's over and he leaves and he's like wiping his face, and SpongeBob sweeping the floor, the audience starts to cheer, and Squidward's like, they want an encore. Number 3 is SpongeBob just sweeping up and the audience cheers for that. Number 4 is Mr. Krabs, when the audience is upset at the show they're getting, and they start throwing tomatoes at Squidward. And so Mr. Krabs is all, I'm losing money off of this deal. And he changes the salad bar from being free to being $1. So, and then the one fish guy's like, it's worth every penny. I also want to point out, before I continue with memorability, that is actually character development from Mr. Krabs. And I will come back to that, as I said earlier. Number 5 is Squidward's dance and the audience being repulsed by it. Number 6 is Poe cheerleading and walking and shaking the whole restaurant. You know, like, give me a K-O-U! Ah! Yeah, that moment. Number 7 is, as a result of Poe being on stage, Mr. Krabs is all, my little girl is finally a star. Number 8 is Plankton being a magician and trying to steal the Krabby Patty formula by magic tricks, but Mr. Krabs stops him. Just like, you may win this time. Sheila Kazim! Darn it. And then, the whole crowd stops booing. Number 9, Mr. Krabs realizing there was some change on the table and jumping on it, and Spongebob in the process. Number 10 is the Krusty Krab being empty at the beginning, and Mr. Krabs is hoping that the free salad bar will bring in customers. Number 11 is Mr. Krabs freaking out when a customer shows up and has SpongeBob cater to his every whim. Number 12 is SpongeBob telling the customer that all he has to do is say the word and he'll throw himself in the brig or something like that. And that was everything that I remembered off the top of my head. So number 1 gets a 12 out of 10. That feels so real. It's like the past few episodes I've done, it was like 18 or 25 out of 10 things that I remembered. It feels so real just to, even though I'm giving it extra credit, to just give it a 12 out of 10. Number 2, oh wait, I'm sorry. Number 3, memorability. Confused myself there for a moment. Number 3 gets 12 out of 10. Number 1, how long did the episode take to make me laugh? It was 11 seconds in, and it was when Scribbled was looking at the ballet magazine. That just made me laugh for some reason. And I do want to give a little side note here that Scribbled, like, they let his character shine in this episode. Like, sometimes Scribbled can just be a full-on diva, and they just let that shine through, and that's just what he was throughout the entire episode, and it made it even more entertaining as a result. But in terms of how long the episode took to make me laugh, it was 11 seconds in. That hasn't reached the 30-second, the 30-second deadline. So I give number 1 a 10 out of 10. Number 2, how many times did the episode make me laugh overall? 31 out of 10 times. So I will give that 31 out of 10 of those. Number 4, is there a good message that's executed well? No, there's not really a message in it, at least not from what I could see. If you guys found a message in it, you can go ahead and leave it in the comments. But yeah, I couldn't really find a message to be showed here. This episode was basically meant for laughs and nothing else. So number 4, I'm going to give 0 out of 10. Number 5. Is there character development or moments that make a character multidimensional? And this is actually a special episode for me now, because not only is a character multidimensional in this, but this is the first time where we've had character development in a SpongeBob episode, and that goes back to what I said with Mr. Krabs making the salad bar free at first. Because throughout the rest of the series, this was a season 1 episode. Throughout the rest of the series, he's pretty cheap. Like, no one gets a free this. Okay, you have to pay for this. You will pay me, or you can just get out. That type of mindset. So even though it's kind of like going in the opposite bad direction, it still is character development that led to some pretty funny scenes for Mr. Krabs down the line in other episodes. And as a result of that, that does qualify as character development. And not only that, but like I said, that it's multi-dimensional for Mr. Krabs, because it shows that there was a time where he was willing to give people a deal. He was willing to make something free. But also there was the scene with Poe where it shows that he is in fact the loving father. It doesn't always show it through other episodes. But it does show that he is invested in Poe's life. He does want to succeed, and he will put over for money. And as a result, that makes him multi-dimensional. So, if I remember correctly, like the multi-dimensionality, since it doesn't always shine through in other episodes unless it's like dial, like it's a dial moment or thing that he needs to do in order to protect Poe, the ones he loves. It doesn't always shine through. So as a result, I'm only going to give number 5 a 15 out of 10 for the combination of the character development as well as the minor hints of multidimensionality we saw from Mr. Krabs. So number 5, 15 out of 10. Number 6, does the episode stay consistently entertaining throughout? And yeah, pretty much. Like, there was no slow start, there was no dragging middle part, and there was no bad payoff in the end. So it gets a 10 out of 10. And finally, number 7, does it misuse a character and has them in there to take punishment or make us laugh out of their misery? And yeah, Squidward, like I said, Squidward is the prime example through classic Spongebob. He has to be miserable for the main punchline of the episode to work, and it is kind of sad. But, it's not the worst thing we've seen happen to Squidward. Like, he's had so many other bad consequences in his life to the actions of himself and others around him. So, because of that, even though it does have him in there so we can laugh out of his misery, I'm only going to take away 2 points for that, and that comes out to an 8 out of 10 for number 7. And so I calculated all, and that is an 86 out of 70, so I'll write that right here. 86 out of 70, that is an 81.4%, and that comes out to being a B- grade overall. You can't see it. There it is. So, yeah, I did enjoy this episode. It was mainly meant for laughs, as I said before. I was shocked at the character development that Mr. Krabs had and the multi-dimensionality he has as well. That was probably the thing that I'm going to remember most from this episode now. If my calculations are correct and my memory is correct, even though this episode was pretty funny and shocking to boot, I believe, based on the percentage, it is now my second least favorite episode that I've watched so far. And of course, that doesn't mean that it's going to end up being in the lower rankings once I'm through with this series. It just means that at this moment in time, it's not nearly it's not near my favorite overall, which at the moment I believe is Pranks a Lot. But like I said, it's still a B- in my eyes. That's not bad. And like, it's a big jump between the 81.4% B- of Culture Shock being my second least favorite episode to what is currently my least favorite episode of As Seen on TV, and that just got a solid 60%, and that just got a solid D-. So, like I said, a big jump between least favorite and second least favorite. So Culture Shock, if this happens to be one of your favorites, I hope you can at least take that away from this video, is that even though it's not as highly regarded in my eyes, it's still like, it's still seen as a really good episode. It's just, it picked the wrong number of the lottery, if you will. But yeah, so that was Culture Shock, and I will be back a little later on to finish up my trio of classic SpongeBob reviews today. And all I can say is it's a secret. This next episode is a secret. I'm not telling you which one it is. No one can find out until the episode comes out. Not even Squidward's house.